shooting feels good.
Yeah.
Build the shotguns in this game feel fantastic, except for the
Crunch.
Mozambique.
Yeah. We don't talk about that one. Yeah. Thank you, Gita, for joining me today.
Thank you, Paul, for inviting me to come and talk to you.
Always good to talk to you. But I have you on the show today because we have both been pretty obsessed.
Obsessed is the right word.
Yeah, with Apex Legends.
Game is so good.
It's so good. So yeah, it came out. It's going to be 2 weeks now that the game's been out, and it was Beyonce's surprise drop released.
Oh hell yeah! It's Beyonce
And
self-titled of games.
Yeah, she made the game. She made it herself.
Beyonce, big Titanfall fan. Who knew?
Yeah, who knew? Initially, when it first was revealed, what were your thoughts?
I was on deadline, and I definitely did not care when I heard about it because I was like, battle royale. I just had not played a battle royale that really clicked for me. I didn't play PUBG because it just seemed to be too technical of a game, and I'm not very good at shooters, honestly. It's just something I know about myself. I enjoy playing a shooter every now and then. You know, I had just assumed that Far Cry New Dawn was gonna hit my shooter itch that I get maybe once a year. But then, I saw how much fun Heather was having with it, and I was like, Titanfall always struck me as cool, but I never got a chance to actually play it. So this game is free. I might as well download it, just see what it's all about, and go from there. So my reaction when it came out was a complete non-reaction though. How about you? How did that hit you?
Initially, I was like, oh, this looks interesting. It has these these class-based characters that have specific abilities, and I was like, oh, okay, so it's kind of scratching my Overwatch itch a little bit. And I like the BR genre. I've jumped from whichever one's hot at the moment to the next one. But initially, I was kind of skeptical. I was like, I don't know if this looks a little too silly for my taste. And at the moment, it kind of caught me at the right time because I was skeptical, but I was also kind of scouting for the next game that I would sort of sink my teeth into.
Yeah, because you used to be big into Overwatch, right?
Yeah. I mean, I love Overwatch, but it just completely fell out of my rotation. And I think that just naturally happens over time where it's a game, right? So there's so many things about it that scratch that Overwatch itch, but also the BR itch. And it's this game that I didn't even realize I wanted, and I find it interesting because we talked about it before, but for you, typically you aren't really into BRs, right?
I just don't. Okay, so the reason I always cite about why I don't play competitive games is that I'm too competitive. And if I start something and I'm not able to grasp it very quickly, I just have, it's a character flaw for sure. Yeah. But I'm an extreme perfectionist and I've always been. So participating in competitive games, I know I'll get frustrated and I just want to not be angry about that. But part of the reason why Apex Legends has become this game I really enjoy is because it does not feed into that frustration, that desire to be the best. There's so many different ways to be good at Apex Legends that don't involve even making it all the way to the end, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
So that I was able to actually get into it and learn and enjoy its systems. I've tried Fortnite, and I just couldn't wrap my head around the building thing, really. And I tried Overwatch, and it was a good place to hang out with internet friends and real life friends. But Overwatch matches are so long, and if you're playing badly, you feel super dumb for the entire time. So I would play with friends if they wanted me to play with them, but it just wasn't something I'd seek out. I play Apex with randos now.
Me too.
Yeah, which is very new.
Sometimes without a mic, and it's the game allows you to do that. I mean, we've talked at length about the ping system.
The ping system's so good.
There's so many design choices in this game that I think are so smart, and I hope other shooters try to take them from this game. I think it will be influential in that way because even it also takes some things from Overwatch that I think are brilliant, but it also kind of remixes them at the same time. So
it's a perfection on these established systems.
Right.
Even something down to you can see what other players' cursor is moused over in character select, and you also pick one at a time.
That's what I was about to say. Is that's my favorite part, even before the match starts. Of okay, I know that the three of us are gonna play. Okay, Gita's up first. You pick Lifeline. All right, so we have a medic. Maybe I'll pick Gibraltar. So I'll be support. I'll be the tank. And then the third person now has the option to, okay, how can I effectively, complete this well-rounded team?
Yeah.
Instead of what I call the Black Friday doorbuster mechanic of all right, everybody rush in and get Farah, get Zarya. It's oh man, now I got to play Mercy. You know, it's like
Yeah.
people are, and each character is strong enough and powerful enough that, not that Mercy isn't powerful or whatever, but
Yeah.
that everyone feels like they made a right choice, and it also encourages you to get good with three characters. And my favorite part too is like, let's say I want to play Wraith or Goth Tracer, as we like to call her.
Goth Tracer.
Goth Tracer.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to be tied to a specific weapon either. So
Yeah.
like, you know, if you want to snipe as Wraith, you can do that. If you want to run and gun as Wraith, you can also do that. So there is like a perfect amount of flexibility there with playstyle too that I think is so smart that makes me want to keep trying characters in all these different
combinations.
different combinations. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, yeah, my next game's going to be Anthem. That's the one I'm going to give a shot. Like again, like I said, I was scouting games.
Yeah, that was kind of my set plan, is like check out Anthem and, you know, motor through Far Cry so I can, you know, write about it, basically.
Right.
And that just got thrown out the window the minute Apex Legends came out.
Yeah, it totally like ruined my game plans of like, all right, yeah, I'm going to sink my teeth into this game.
Your
and
video game
my video game
plans?
yeah. And I can't remember the last time a game has done this where I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get into this game, and then all of a sudden, hey, surprise, like this game came out of nowhere, and I'm like, wow, now I'm obsessed with this game to a point where when I'm at my desk during lunch or whatever, or if I'm out, you know, on my commute, I'm reading about the game and like, you know, pro strat videos of like, you know, what character to use, what combination of guns to use. And it's like, it feels like Overwatch again for me, where I'm like, oh nice, I'm getting into the meta, and I'm like really learning the best way for me to be effective the next time I even play. And like, I'm thinking about the game when I'm not even playing it, which I think is cool.
I'm completely obsessed. Like, obsessed is the exact right word. I'm like been bodily taken over by Apex Legends. I've never been the kind of person that sits around watching like highlight clips, but I do that now. I wake up and I check, you know, Reddit for work every morning, but now I find myself like in my free time just scrolling through the Apex Legends subreddit and watching all the clip highlights. And just like, I know I couldn't even explain what makes it so fascinating to me to another person. I try.
I am curious though, with this game being sort of like the new hotness at the moment, every game sort of has their spot in the limelight, right? So we had, I mean, Overwatch is still going strong. I mean, OWL starting up this weekend, but it had like a solid 2 years where it was like the top dog. Nothing was touching it until when PUBG came around, and that was like the top dog. And then of course Fortnite came over, and now it seems like, at least from like a mindshare perspective, Apex Legends seems to be the new kid on the block, the popular kid now.
Well, you know, Fortnite and Overwatch are both in somewhat of a decline. You know, I've noticed Fortnite players saying that the game is too toxic to play right now because it's so popular. You just get to a point where you can't really do much about it unless the whole community bands together and says what's acceptable and not. But that just hasn't really happened for Fortnite yet. And Overwatch, you know, Cecilia has written about like what has made Overwatch less fun, and you know, I know you've been saying that it's just isn't as fun for you anymore. And here comes this game with the best elements of both of those games, and none of the bad elements of those games.
And it also just introduces new things that I'm like, oh, I think it'll be hard for me to go back to those old games where it's like, it's like the Breath of the Wild syndrome for me, where it's like I've seen the mountaintop, and it's going to be hard for me to go back. Can this game become like a Counter-Strike, or does it just become another one of the games that's hot for 2 years and then we jump to the next thing? Like, can this thing become an esport?
You know, I mean, right now I'm at the point where I definitely would watch like a professional league of Apex players, because I think one of the benefits of Respawn developing this game is that they made two incredibly good first-person shooters in Titanfall and Titanfall 2. They really, you can tell and you can feel when you play that these are incredibly polished systems, and they made sure that they were polished before the game came out. Just the mobility the characters have around that map. You can get anywhere in about 30 seconds if you know how to do.
Just slide down a hill.
Oh my god, sliding feels so good. Shooting feels good. All the shotguns in this game feel fantastic, except for the Mozambique.
We don't talk about that one, I felt the same way about Blackout. I really love Blackout. And I still think it's a solid choice. If you still have that game and you don't want to move over, that's fine. I think that's a solid choice. But I feel like the added bonus of this being free and just telling your friends, hey, just check it out. Like, you never know. And then showing them the ropes. Like, it's becoming this new phenomenon that I think I like a lot, because it's like the first time I feel like I'm still a little skeptical with some parts of the game, but I'm very hopeful at the same time, and it completely blindsided me. I
Yeah.
did not see this coming.
I think the only thing that really gives it a big edge over these other games that had their sort of moment, Day in the Sun, and then faded, is that the core technical elements are so polished. Like,
Yeah.
this is a game made by people not chasing a trend, but seeing that they can do something different with a trend.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's a very small distinction between those two things, but this isn't a cash grab.
Yeah.
The people who made this game clearly really care about it. Just
Yeah.
the fact that I don't feel like there's a character that's way worse, like obviously way worse than the others, that is huge for me.
Word.
Yeah.
It's great. I can't wait to play more of it.
I literally thinking about playing another game right now.
Let's go.
Let's
play
go.
some
Okay,
more now,
let's go.